Hi, everybody. It's good. I trust we're all doing great. Welcome. It's good to have everybody around. It's going to be it's not going to be a long show today. We'll make it as brief as we can. We're trying to connect right now with guys on Instagram and some other platforms. So that will take us like 2 minutes. What you can do right now is to share this broadcast and let people have it, let people see what's going on right now. Thank you as you share. God bless you. God bless you as you share it. Yeah, welcome everyone. God bless you as you share it. Share it, please share it to your friends. Share it. I will be talking about reinfection, immunity, and prevention. Reinfection, immunity, and prevention are the things we'll be talking about today. And I believe these are on the front burner. It's important that we actually highlight these possibilities. What are the likely things that could happen? Are we really prepared or sufficiently prepared for all of these things? Please share to friends, share to loved ones. Let them know the show is live right now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Yes, yep. Wow. What happens all the time? Wow. Wow. Does it seem like our page is under attack? Yeah, got it. We got it. All right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Now we'll go to our Instagram friends just to ensure that they can connect with us today without any hitch. And because of them as well, we don't want to make this a two-part video. We just want it to be a one-part video, and we can sign out afterwards. Try to get that across to the other side, right? Okay. Awesome. So we got people in already. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. So I'm gonna believe, yeah. To our Instagram friends, hello everybody. Thank you everyone. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for connecting from everywhere you're connecting from. It's going to be not too long a show. Olaju Mokemi, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for staying with us on this show. Today is going to be talking about the issues of infection, reinfection, immunity, We will also be talking about prevention over the weeks. This week, there are so many, videos and information keep coming out. People don't even know which to believe. Thank you, Mem48. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you could invite some other people to join us as well. So much is going around town. Yeah, sometimes it's just so difficult to know which is true, what to believe in the midst of all that we're hearing. So we just want to make some clarifications. I always tell people that it's important to actually have the right information. Where do you get the right information from? And somebody accosted me to say, oh, after all, they've said coronavirus is not airborne, so there is no cause for alarm. We can go on and live our lives and do things just the way we feel like doing them. And I'm like, wow, who told you that? Who gave you that information? Well, yes, from Ghana, Mrs. Abby, how are you? How are you doing today? Good to see you here. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Thank you, everyone. So we'll be dealing with all those issues today. We want to really clarify a few things and then make sure that you protect yourself and your loved ones. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. There are a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself, and then we'll be talking about those things today. God willing, God helping us. All right. So I'm going to start the show right away. I think by now we should have all the connections we have on all the platforms. People joining us from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I want to believe that everybody should be sufficiently added right now, so we can actually go on and talk about a few things for the show today. All right, so I'm going to be the only one that will be speaking today, so that means it's going to be as brief as we can. We also take questions. Siscam, thank you for joining us. We'll also be taking some questions. If you really have questions, you can type them. We'll scroll by and then try as much as possible to answer those questions as far as time will permit us to do today. First of all, let me speak about the issue of before I talk about reinfection and to see how possible is reinfection possible? Is it a possibility that people can be infected? Let me speak about the modes of transmission of this virus, because that will probably give us an understanding to know what exactly we are up against and what we are dealing with, right? I have some jottings here. I'm just trying, because I don't want to just talk over myself. So I've kind of listed them in order, so I don't skip anything at all. Sometimes you say so much and you forget some things that you really wanted to say. So just give me a second. Let me flip through my. Yep. Okay, I'm here. All right. So I want to talk about the issue of the spread. Right. How does the virus spread? And so it's important for us to know how it spreads, so that we can know how we can help ourselves and prevent it. So if you understand the spread, the mode of spread, the mode of transmission, it's going to, and then it will help me to talk about the prevention, so that you will know what to believe and what to trash when people tell you all sorts of things. Buy this, buy that, use this, don't use this, don't use that. Because I've seen people will be like, well, they said this is not going to work, so there is no point. There is no point me. I mean, I have no reason to use it. I've seen people who do that too, right? So if you know what you are up against, it's going to be easy for you to protect yourself. So there are about 4 major means of infection that have been established, as it were. Up to now, there are 4 things that have been established, and it's important for us to work with all of this understanding in mind, so we don't just run amok and then expose ourselves and our family members. We don't have to risk our lives for this, right? The first one is that we understand that this virus could be spread from one person to another person. That is human to human transmission, which has been the reason, the major reason that has been pushed for the lockdown. That is, let us reduce human vehicular transmission, as it were, in the case of the virus. That if we can get that reduced, it's going to be easy for us to contain the virus. And the other 3 methods are also things that are moved because of human contact right? But we have to establish it first that human-to-human transmission is the first established mode for transmitting this virus, and that can happen in any of the three ways which I'm going to list underneath it, which makes it four, entirely. So how do you get human-to-human transmission? Do I contact the virus by looking at you from like you are watching me right now on your screen? Will you get the virus? No, you will not. So how do we establish human-to-human transmission? Number one is the fact that this virus could be found as aerosols. And what are aerosols? Aerosols are infectious viral particles that are suspended in the air, and they can be there for a maximum of 3 hours. Right. When people talk, as we talk right now, a lot of stuff are coming out from our mouth. As I'm talking right now, stuff are coming out from my mouth. Some of this stuff, if somebody is infected, the virus from the mouth of that person will go in the air and be retained in the air for like 3 hours. And now in the process of being in the air for 3 hours, somebody who is in the vicinity or in the proximity of that aerosol will actually inhale the air. Like we all are in the same room, all of us together. As we are talking, we are releasing stuff into the atmosphere. Now, anybody within the range of that atmosphere could inhale it, either through inhaling it from the nose, or like I'm talking right now, if I'm talking, saliva is coming from my mouth, there are droplets from my mouth. If I'm infected, right, anybody close to me, you've also had contact with people that while talking, they talk and their saliva gets into your mouth. That happens, right? So those droplets are things at the number one point for human-to-human transmission, which is the reason for advocating the use of facial masks. So I'm going to break all of this down so that we just know, okay, if you understand the mode of transmission, we can know what will work effectively for prevention, right? So thank you very much for putting it up. I really appreciate that because I can't do that today. Thank you, Abby. She's doing that on Facebook and YouTube, right? So if you have established that aerosols in the air, which are viral particles that are suspended or trapped in the air, which can stay for a maximum of 3 hours, which if anybody is in the proximity of that environment where that has been released, the person can inhale the virus or it can drop as a droplet into the person's mouth. So that is one possibility, right? So I want us to actually have that understanding. And so that makes it number two mode of transmission as established. And now the third one is contact with an infected object. And I'm gonna pull this straight. So let me just explain how long. For example, let me start by saying that, okay, somebody who is already infected touches probably his own mouth, his own nose, his own eyes, and then the virus, the virus already is on those hands, and then the hands are placed on any object. For example, there are common objects that all of us will touch. And easy ones are the doorknobs, door handles, toilet flush, table slabs, kitchen slabs, table desks, walkways, stairways, and so many things. Doors. There are so many things that we share with so many people, right? If somebody who is infected touches any of those surfaces, you touch those surfaces, and after touching those surfaces, right, the virus lands on those surfaces. Now, if the person leaves, somebody else who is not infected, who comes in contact with those surfaces, touch the surfaces. Now, touching the surface does not mean you are infected. But when you touch the surface and you take the hand to your mouth, to your nose, or to your ears, or your eyes, then transmission can be established or occur. Now, to break it down, make it very simple, what I'm saying is that somebody who's already infected, who touches the surface, puts the virus on the surface the person is touched. So if somebody who is not infected comes and touch that same surface, touching the surface does not mean he's infected. Infection can be established only if he removes that same hand after touching that surface and takes the hands to his mouth, to his nose, his eyes, or his ears. Right. And you know, some of the videos we have watched, there was one that went so far viral, and you saw people that were advising people not to touch their eyes, their nose, their mouth, so as to prevent the spread of the virus. And as they said that, not up to 10 minutes, some of them even 30 seconds, they're already touching, because all these are areas of our bodies that we're touching voluntarily. You know, some of us are used to touching them, and we cannot even we can't explain why. You know, these are all involuntary reactions that we take, right? So we can't predict that. So people do that, and once you do that, you touch all those parts of the body unknowingly, and then the virus begins to spread in that person's body, right? So that is the second of the third part. The third pathway for infection, right? And the fourth one, which again I spoke about on this show, for people who are infected, who are going through recovery, is that samples of the virus have been found in people's stool, right? When they take the stool sample, it has been found in their stool, which is why I advise that please, after using your toilet, before you flush it, cover the lid and flush. Because if you do not flush, again, the toilet bowl, actually a lot of particles, germs and bacteria are emitted and released into the air like that. So that can be released. So it's important that you cover it before you flush. And after flushing, I mean, if you can, at least once in 2-3 days, try to disinfect your bathrooms, your toilet every day, especially if you are infected. And then when I say if you are infected, we know you are infected when you show symptoms. There are people who are infected and are asymptomatic, who do not have any symptom. So this would be a general warning for everybody that for this season, for us to control the spread of the virus, let us cover the toilet lid before we pull the handle to flush it, right? And so the third case, which I mentioned, the third means of transmission, which I mentioned, which I talked about, which has to do, I just took my nose now, so which has to do with you touching surfaces that have been infected. Now, random studies have been conducted to know how long this virus can stay on some surfaces. For copper, a surface that has copper, it will stay for like 4 hours. For cardboard, it will stay for 24 hours. And for plastics, it will stay for between 2 to 3 days, right? So if somebody who is infected touches a plastic container, that virus can remain on that plastic container between 2 to 3 days. So if anybody who is not infected touches the plastic at that time, and the person takes his hands to his nose, his mouth, his eyes, and his ears, the person gets infected. So all of these are all, so far, so good. These are all the established modes of transmission, especially for the general public. Now, for people who work as frontline health workers, there could be other risks that are involved. There could be other exposures that could affect them. And so they have been taught and they've been told how to prevent and protect themselves. One of them is the proper use of the PPE, the adequate one. And so if you're a frontline health worker, so how long does it stay on paper? So we want to refer to paper as also probably cardboard. So that would mean it will stay for like 24 hours, right? Somebody just asked that question. So Mazo, so that would be like about 24 hours. All right. So for frontline workers, please try to ensure that wherever you work at the moment, a lot of Nigerians are working like 3-4 homes at the moment. A lot of people are withdrawing from the front lines, and so because of the money, I'm not saying because of the money alone, I would love to work as a frontline worker at the moment, so as just to help and contribute at this critical point in time, especially for homes where you have the aged and the elderly people who can't help themselves. So there are so many countries right now who are in crisis mode because people are not really up to work, and so many people are now working in more than one homes, and it's a challenge, right? So, but my advice for everyone is that whichever home you're working, my advice is please ensure that they have proper procedures in place. Learn the procedures and know what to do to protect yourself. There are so many things you can read online. The proper protective gear to wear, you should get them and ensure that they provide them for you. They don't know if they can't provide, please try to get them for yourself, right? So that you can actually manage your exposure, as it were. So before I go ahead and leave the aspect of touch, so what are the prevention? What are the things to wear, right? So number one, the lockdown was to prevent or to minimize person-to-person transmission. And so since we are relaxing lockdowns and people are going back to work, as it were, in the next few days, a lot of people have already relaxed lockdown, and then people are being released to go back into work. What do we do? Now, social distancing has been advocated, which also is an important factor. Social distancing means that you give you maintain a distance of about two meters from the next person to you, because we know that is enough a distance to keep yourself and all of that, right? So if you work in a space that you can achieve 2 meters apart from the next person, it's going to be a great advantage at this moment. I've seen pastors advocating for the reopening of churches and worship centers, religious and faith people, which is important. I also believe that churches are essential, right? Because we are not only dealing with the physical effect of this virus, we're also dealing with the emotional effect of the virus on people, psychologically and all of that. We know that the church provides a lot of comfort and hope to people. And meeting, again, for some people, is the meeting in church is the only place people socialize, as it were. That as it may, is also important for church leaders, religious leaders, to understand what the government was trying to do by saying churches should not reopen in the first place. And so if they have that understanding, I have appealed severally. I've said on some shows that I've had, on interviews, that it's important for leaders who are leading at this moment in this pandemic to carry along the stakeholders. And the stakeholders will involve religious leaders. It will involve market women. These are people, you people run to politicians, they run to these people when during the election. You should understand that these people are needed as an important vehicle to help spread the proper education, educate their members, educate the populace on what to do for safety. And so I believe if the pastors and the churches are also carried along, the mosque, right now the imams, everybody's talking about, are we going to have the either fitri prayers in the mosque, or people should have it in their homes because of the virus? You know, because people don't understand how it works, how it can be prevented, which is why we're having this show today, right? And so if you are reopening your church, you are, as a religious leader, you are reopening your places of religion, and you want to know what to do, these are all precautions. If you understand how it spreads, you will now know what you can do. The 2 meter social distancing is important so that we can maintain a distance from one person to another. In some cities where the lockdown has been relaxed for religious places of worship, they have been told that singing may not be allowed, because of course we all know that, and which is true, that when we sing, when we talk, when we shout, the things we do in church, things fly into the atmosphere, right? But I believe that if you can actually maintain social distancing, that can be curbed. And again, the use of facial masks will also be advocated, and the churches will need to have sanitizers, because that would be like the second issue, like touching surfaces. We cannot be sure that surfaces will not be touched, and we do this because of people who are infected but do not have any symptom, right? And so we want to be sure that where people are touching can well sanitized, and then prevention in those places are minimized, right? And infection in those places are minimized. The contact are also monitored, right? And then we've had cases of people who had advocated that the children department in all those churches should be open, because in some places the law is that the children's church cannot be open. So every child will come to church with their parents, and that every family should be allowed to sit together, which also I strongly advocate. If you are living together in the same household, everybody in that household should sit together. Yesterday, during the week, I had a meeting with pastors in my city, and then we had a meeting with the premier of the province, where we're talking about this lockdown, how to relax the lockdown in the particular city, and the measures to be taken. One of the measures was that chairs are now arranged in the church. We arrange the chairs like 4, 5, and 6. So if you're a family of 4, you will be taken to a place where 4 of you will sit. Family of 6, you'll be given a place of 6, and every of these sitting arrangements, like the family of 4, from family to family, is going to be 2 meters apart, right? So all of these are measures, and it's there's a cap also, given that you cannot have more than 50 people in that auditorium per time for any service. All of these are measures that are being taken so that churches can meet at this time. I'm only saying this right now that probably the governments in various other countries were also considering the relaxing the lockdown, especially for churches and places of worship, would want to consider it as something to be done, right? So that's an example of what can be done. So for the children's church, in my opinion, I still do think that every child should be made to stay with their parents for now, and that church services cannot be too long. You know, the longer it becomes, the more the risk. So if we can have the service for 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes at the max, and everybody would leave the building. Even if it's shorter, then you can have it for a longer, you can have many sessions. So you can have 4 services, right? And then let people call in to determine what service they're coming to attend. So somebody can just wake up and say, I'm going for second service or third service. We have your list that you are coming for this service. And when you are coming in, you are registered in. Because that registration also is for contact tracing. So should there be a case where I live, unfortunately, it was said that 60% of the cases came from people who attended church. In the province where I live, there was a case of a choir group that had 32 choir members, all of them infected, and 2 people died in the same province. And that is a cause for concern. We don't want to have such a reputation for our church or for our ministry. We don't want people to say they die because of COVID-19. It's not because God does not save or God does not heal. We need to manage things with wisdom. So the wisdom there is that we can spread the sitting arrangement, make people sit according to family. So you have a seat for 4, a seat for 2, a seat for 1, a seat for 6. You know the size of your church. That's why probably calling in before coming for service will be important. So when every family is calling in to say we are coming for the service or you're coming for the prayer, you let them know how many people are coming, the number of how many children do they have. So you will have prepared, because when they are coming, they are ushered to it. It's like you are planning for a party. You know how you do your wedding receptions, and you have people, you already have their tables marked. That can be done. This might be the reality for us in the coming days as we protect ourselves and keep ourselves secure in the wake of this pandemic, which I will advocate and advise that we should do, right? Religious leaders should do this, and our government should engage them so that we can get this done. A lot of people are saying that they don't want their names to be, people want to come to church anonymously. They don't want to be, I don't know why going to the house of God should be a secret thing. Are you serving God? It's not a secret court. You should be able to go to let people know you were in church, So for contact tracing, it's so important for us to, that we manage the register. We have a list of people that are coming to church. Facial masks, sanitizers, things that we need to do, right? For churches, especially, that will be reopened as we relax this lockdown. The same will be applicable for people in the workplace. The workplace is having more restrictions, and then it's important that people get to screen. I've also advocated that for people who work in banks and in the banking industry, I still believe that bank is not an essential. If it's an essential, it's still something that can be managed, right? A lot of transactions can be carried out online on online platforms for several banks. And if there's a need for anybody to walk into the bank, you can do that strictly on appointment. So the bank knows that, multiple services. Thank you, Mrs. Sylvia. Multiple services can be done, right? For people who are going into the bank, also, you can actually go there by appointment. So you don't just stray into the bank for no reason. Why am I saying this? Is to protect people who work in these banks. That should be the first line of protection for them, because they are so much at risk. They are exposed, just like frontline workers are exposed. So a lot of people go there, right? And so if you work in an office, I believe every office you have certain rules and things to actually stick to protect their staff where they work. So having said that, I want to quickly move to the issues of reinfection. In regards to big churches, in my own province where I stay, the government says not more than 50 people should be in a place, and that there should be 2 doors, one for exit and one for entrance, right? So people don't face themselves when they are going in or coming out of the place. I also think that also makes sense if you can, achieve that, right? So big churches can actually have multiple services. Thank you, Mrs. Sylvia. Okay. Now let's talk about the issue of reinfection. Is reinfection possible? Yes. I will talk about reinfection and immunity, as the same, because what people expected was that if you come in contact with the virus, you should have an immunity against a reinfection. So far, so good. Immunity for people who have been exposed has not been confirmed. That somebody came in contact with it, then they are not vulnerable to get it a second time. That has not been confirmed. But what has been confirmed is that reinfection is very possible. I have had cases of people that are treated who were reinfected. So because of that, I always want to advocate and advise people to be very careful. So when we understand that reinfection is possible and that immunity is not given to you because you were once infected, everybody is going to be careful, right? So we need to exercise care. Reinfection is very, very possible. Reinfection is very, and I can say that over and over again, that reinfection is very possible. So you want to take care of yourself. You want to protect yourself, not because you were once infected, so you think you can't be infected again. You can be infected again and again. I've had people who have been infected twice, who had come for treatment, they were okay, and then they have been reinfected twice. Now, another issue is the issue of reinfection or relapse. What is the difference and what happens? Now, I do not believe that after the kind of aggressive treatment that people do to handle the symptoms of the virus, that relapse might be possible. Rather, I would want to explain it in this simple way for us to understand, because so many people talk about these symptoms and the symptoms that they react to. Now, the body produces cytokines. Cytokines are immune messengers. And what cytokines do mainly is that cytokines send messages to the white blood cells and the other soldiers of the body that there is an invasion in the system and that the body should get ready. Somebody's asking what treatment. You will have to wait a bit, and then I will talk about treatment. Before I finish the show, I will talk about things that you can do to help your immunity before I finish this show. Right. So please, Debbie Beauty, please so just stay with us on this. Right. And so so cytokines send messages to the soldiers of the body to get ready because there has been an invasion. Excuse me. Because there has been an invasion, and then they walk straight towards it to ensure that they mobilize to fight off the invasion. But that is when the immune system is working in order. So there are times that the cytokines are deceived, so they do not send the right message. It's not triggered. Sometimes because the virus could mask some, not just the virus, not talking about some other infections that could mask to be like normal part of the body until the body doesn't do anything. But in the case of this COVID-19, after treatment starts, cytokines are released. What has been reported is that in most cases they are over-released, and so they are released in excess. So even when the virus had been dealt with, the cytokines are still in the body, generating immune response. And that immune response, now when the soldiers don't know anything to fight now, they begin to fight organs and systems of the body, which is why so many people begin to come down with all kind of complaints like that looks like the symptoms they experienced before the virus. People talk about backache, body ache, stomach ache, toothache. Somebody complained about ringing in the ears. People talk. The toothache was the funniest one that I've seen, and I've seen people who had complained about that, who had that, and you can't fault it. These are things that happen. The moment that is released, the cytokines are released in excess. Now the body, they are developing, the soldiers are released and they begin to fight against the body itself. Now that the virus is over, now they have nothing to fight against now than themselves. So they begin to fight against the body, which happens. So people after infection have these symptoms. So sometimes these symptoms are misinterpreted to be a relapse. It is not a relapse. So that's why I tell people that, look, okay, I listen to their stories. Okay, you've done this, you've done this, you've done that. 14 days is past. You are still feeling this, feeling that. I tell them, relax. The body will resolve itself. do not continue to aggressively take certain things. Just allow the body. The body is sensitive and intelligent enough. Take water, do enough exercise, eat healthy, don't abuse your body, and be at peace with yourself. Don't be hyper aggressive, or what do I use right now? People are just kind of afraid. They fear a lot. And so because of the fear, they begin to put themselves under stress, which again can compromise their immune health. And so they start another round of trouble. So I say, please relax yourself, but relax and watch your body heal itself. After you've done the treatment, 14 days is passed, it's not likely you're going to have that virus. And then some of them will be like, they're still worried. And I say, okay, let's go and take the test. And after taking the test, they come back negative. But they tell me I'm negative, but I'm still feeling symptoms. So why am I feeling symptoms while I'm negative? The reason is this that I just explained. The cytokines have been over-released, and so the immune system is still feeling like there is still an enemy within the system, within the body, so they are trying to fight that. So that is what happens, right? And so what I do, if you have body ache, take paracetamol, you'll be fine. Sleep well enough, take enough water, don't stress your systems at all, and then in a short while, you are going to be okay, right? So I said that to clarify the issue of relapse. And then now, what about reinfection, which is very, very possible. So I've seen people who come back with reinfection after they have been treated. I've seen people who have done that 1 month after treatment. Yeah, after treatment for 1 month, right? They are still like feeling the symptoms. Which is the relapse, which is the cytokine, we call it cytokine storm. That's what it's called, cytokine storm, right? Some feel they feel like the anosmia is still there. Anosmia is the loss of the sense of smell. That they feel like anosmia is still there, right? And so they are still thinking about that in their mind, grappling with that in their mind. Then all of a sudden there is a reinfection, so they get reinfected. And then they come back with almost all the symptoms that they had before, and then they need that this is it again. Then they have to go to treatment again. So reinfection is very possible. Immunity is not guaranteed, right? So it's important for everybody to understand that happens. Now, another case is the case of pulmonary embolism, which is like blood clots, which happens. A lot of people have reported the issue of blood clotting for COVID patients. In fact, even stroke has been reported, even in young people who never had any stroke symptoms. All of this because of blood clotting, that happen. And then when that happens in the lungs, in the pulmonary veins, that is embolism, which can also lead to death. It could be very fatal, right? So people also have these cases come up, right? And so this, like I tell people that I've had to recommend the use of astragalus, kale, what's it again? Broccoli, astragalus, broccoli, kale, the juice. I tell them, take it, juice it, and then drink it. Why? Because garlic, which is a blood thinner, will also help to prevent clots from happening, which is why even after people have gotten off, treatment or whatever, I still advise keep taking the ginger, garlic, turmeric, cinnamon, that tea. I call it tea right now. So you could just keep taking it, right? Because you don't want something else to come up and all of that. So you keep taking it. It could be part of your life. You want to make that a part of what you drink every day, just for you to keep safe and to keep healthy. With that, there are normal things or regular things that you can do. If you do all of this, I can assure you that you can prevent yourself. That's one. Then you can fight off reinfection, right? Now, let me also say that, thank you very much, asparagus, broccoli, and kale, some places call it astragalus. So they have different names, but it's the same product, right? So it helps to, it's going to prevent the blood clotting from happening. It's going to help you to ease the lungs, so the lungs can actually breathe properly, and there will be no retention of water in anywhere in your lungs. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Dr. Binizajayi was telling you some exercise you can do. You can go watch that video, and something you can press on your chest, upper chest, like this, to ease off the to stop water retention from happening there, from there, right? So all of this, they're all natural stuff. There are no herbs. There are things that you can do. So why are people now talking about face masks? That face masks are not important. Does COVID disease cause irregular menstruation? If you do take antibiotics while treating COVID, your menstrual period is going to be altered. That is a possibility that can happen. Someone just asked that question, so I should quickly answer that. That can happen if you do take the treatment. The mode of treatment can, yes. I think they're the same thing. Astragalus, asparagus. Right. So the mode of treatment can actually affect your cycle. Your cycle could be either more or less. It could be shortened. So, but make sure you do take a proper test so that you can be sure it's not like you're pregnant. Again, because if you are pregnant, the mode of treatment is also important. We always try to say, yes, that's what we have been saying, ma. Those who have the virus and have been treated can still come down with it. Yes, ma'am. That there is every possibility for that. Right. So I always try to say that all of these things people read online, you watch the video of Reverend Sumborite and all of that. Please, caution must be taken, especially for people who are pregnant. And so you want to be sure that your menstrual period not being affected is not like you are pregnant. So take necessary precaution, take a test to be sure that it's not pregnancy that we are dealing with. Yes, it can be. All right. So where was I? I think I missed my thought again. Let me see. what was I going to talk about that I haven't talked about now? All right. So I was going to talk about some things that you can do right to build your immune health. I have a long list of vegetables and fruits that I want to recommend for everybody, even as we move out these days. I've always said that protect yourself. The first line of protection is to be sure that your immune system is not compromised. One way not to compromise your immune health is in your diet. And the second one is in your lifestyle. What do you do? How do you live your life? Is your life free of worry, anxiety, bitterness, unforgiveness? These are the times to get rid of those things because they can compromise your immune health. Right. And then what you eat, there are certain foods that when you consume them, they compromise and deplete your immune system. They kind of immobilize. Some of them, when I talk about sugar, people be like, oh, sugar. Yes, there are proven cases, there are researches that have been done to let you see what sugar does to your immune system after consumption. For 48 hours, your white blood cells begin to act like they are dormant, they are dull. They act in a very dull way. So let me just list a few things that you need to incorporate into your diet at this time. I list them: cucumber, carrots, lettuce, grapes. I didn't say grapefruit now. I mean grapes, the green one, the red grapes. Yeah, they will be very helpful. Kale, broccoli, celery, cabbage, parsley, avocado, beetroot, banana. I advise people to have oatmeal, quinoa. See, all of these some of them are superfoods that are nutritious to your health. And that if you inculcate them, introduce them into your diet at this time, you'll be fine. There are oils that you can use at this moment. The black seed oil, the flaxseed oil, all these are rich in omega-3. Udo's oil is rich in omega-3, 6, and 9. Udo's oil. I mean, these are things that you can incorporate. And people have asked me, what do you cook with? Necessarily, you don't have to fry your stew, but we are used to frying our stew. And our African nature because to fry it, but you don't need to fry it, right? Make your stew, cook. After cooking, then you can put any of this oil. Just put them like dressing. They shouldn't stay on the fire for more than 2-3 minutes. Your food will still have the same flavor, right? It will be fine. It will be nice. Just try it and come and thank me later for it. All right. One of these days, I want to invite you to my kitchen and see how I cook. I'm a good cook, by the way. As I can say that to myself. I'm the only person eating my food, so I know it's good. All right. And then I tell people that it is time to substitute your animal-based milk for plant-based milk. Somebody saying, I get that. A lot of people came, I get that. I thought this is a way of life. Frying your stew. Yeah. Okay. So It's time to substitute your animal-based milk for plant-based milk to fortify your health, to boost your immune system, and to reduce your chances of compromising your immunity. So I will advise you, please go for plant-based milk if you must use milk. What are those plant-based milk alternatives? You have almond milk, you have tiger nut milk, you have coconut milk, you have rice milk. How do you make milk from rice? There's a machine called Soyabella. If you get the Soyabella machine, if you live in Nigeria, if you DM me after the show or you go on Amazon, I could tell you where to get it. There is a store in Nigeria where I think they are the main distributor for Africa. They have the franchise. I could tell you where to get that from, right? Please, you can actually get hey man, why are you laughing? This makes you, yeah, you should leave me frying. As a matter of fact, by the time you begin to grow after 35, you should limit frying. That is very important. Thank you, Abby, for reminding me about that. You should limit frying. You should limit frying. And so, animal-based milk for plant-based milk. Thank you for putting it up. And so, I'm talking about the plant-based milk option. I was talking about the Soyabella machine. Soyabella machine makes it very easy for you to make a tiger nut milk, your coconut milk. You just put it inside. It's like an electric kettle. So once you put all those things inside, yeah, baking it, grilling. I mean, those are better options than frying. Air drying, air frying. Yeah, those are better options that you can actually employ instead of frying your food all the time. So you put the rice milk or rice, almond, whatever you want to make milk of, you put them inside the Soyabella machine, you plug it. By the time you are back, your milk is ready. It's going to help you to separate the chaff from the strain. About 7-8 years ago, I began the aggressive campaign about the use of tiger nut milk. And I thank God because today many people have made businesses out of it. I'm so happy that people are doing that. I did so many training and people saw, I told them this could be a business opportunity. And I think there are about 2 people who started a company. They live on that right now. In fact, they bought a house, moved to another part of town where they could have enough space to begin to produce tiger nut milk. And today it's a big industry, right? I know about 2 people like that. So it's something that we can do, right? Grilling. Those are better options. Those are healthy options. You can grill your food. You can, Soyabella machine is for making milk, right? Yeah, you can grill your food. All these are options that you can do, right? So limit frying. It's not healthy for you in any way. It's not healthy. So you have to limit the frying and the fry. So people can fry water, if possible. They will fry the water before they drink it. Right. So please, let's limit that. And then your other food are also still very valuable and they are very important. Right. When I say the other food you eat, I'm talking about your sweet potato, your yam, especially if you cook them well. When I say cook them well, cook them appropriately. For example, how do you boil your yam? I've done this training in so many places. I've explained to people and I can explain it over and over again. Your yam should not be peeled before you boil. You don't peel your yam before you boil. Your potato should not be peeled before you boil. How do I mean? Because every food that every food that grows beneath the soil have their core nutrient around their peel. Every food that grows beneath the soil, they have their core nutrient around their peel. So using yam as an example, when you want to boil your yam, people will rinse it over and over and they peel it. They peel it the first time. After peeling it, they put it in water, they pour water. You see that the water is milky, cloudy. If you take time to look at the sediments collected, it's usually whitish. That is the yam that you are throwing away. And so many people throw their yam away. Yeah, tiger nut milk does that. Yeah, tiger nut milk and some other things will help you to boost your libido. Don't make me let the cat out of the bag. My next book, which should be released next week, is called Super Health, Super Sex. Super Health, Super Sex. It should be released next week. Yeah, next week. Super Health, Super Sex. A lot of my books are going to be out in a couple of days. Some of them that were not published before have been published, and one of them is Super Health in Stress Environment. Under the Super Health series is the Super Health, Super Sex. And one of the things I recommend is the use of tiger nut milk to boost your libido. before menopause, during menopause, but both for men and for women. You add some other components to it, you drink it, it helps you to boost your libido. All right. And so having said that, so your yam, what you are throwing away the main yam, the main nutrients. Those are the things you see whitish, you throw them away. My first degree in microbiology, I had to study the effect of lactobacillus species on yam, which was what I did as my project research, you know. And so I discovered so many people have actually done so many things about yam and what yam could do, the nutritional benefit of yam, and you know, at various stage, either boiled, roasted, you know, fried, you know, a lot has been done, and we're able to they've been able to do the analysis of what and what is there, and it's discovered. You don't peel your yam, don't peel it. So boil like that, right? Because each time when you peel, you rinse. As you are rinsing, you are throwing away nutrients. Now, some people will now put sugar in their yam. They will put salt in the yam. That also is not healthy. It's not something you do. Yam doesn't even need salt. Yam doesn't need salt. Yeah, when the book is out, you're going to find it on the link tree on the bio on how to get it. It's going to be It's going to be on Amazon. I can promise it's going to be on Amazon. Some will be available in e-format and some will be available in hard copies. So we'll be able to distribute across the world, as it were, right? So don't put your yam. I mean, if you peel your yam, you're throwing away. So people will put sugar, they will put water in the yam and all of that. Then after boiling, the yam is ready. The water they use in boiling the yam, they will throw it away again. Meanwhile, people in the village who still pound their yam. See that water, they still put that water into the yam to pound as they are pounding the yam. Why? They are retaining more nutrients into what they are eating. Many people in the city, by the time the yam lands on the table, it's no longer yam, it's bland. They have taken away important nutrients from the yam. But if the yam is not peeled, that is why when you watch roasted yam doesn't need sugar, doesn't need salt. It's sweet, it tastes well. That sweetness is the yam in the yam. And that sweetness, you see, when people talk about carbohydrates, again, a boot camp started yesterday. I'm going to put the number up. Please call that number if you want to join that boot camp. It's a boot camp for weight loss. And then between now and the end of the month, we are taking people. It's going to cost $10 for the 3 months. 3 months, $10. People have spoken to me about their weight loss package. I'm sorry for people who have paid, but it's not my fault that we take it, right? People will be like, what about those of us who paid? And then we paid so much money. Yeah, it's important. But what I'm doing right now is to make it easy. I want to put the number on the screen so that people can actually get that number, and then you can subscribe to join the boot camp. It's going to start June 1st of June. The boot camp is going to start, and that yeah, let me put the number up. +1 214 624 2783 is a number for boot camp. WhatsApp only. Weight loss bootcamp is just $10 per person, and the bootcamp is going to start June 1st of June. So there is no one size fits all for weight loss, right? So at the same time, I'm going to ensure that we are able to manage everybody according to their own case. So we're not going to use one size fits all in managing that situation. So you can WhatsApp that number, and then we will be able to sign you up into that boot camp. And then after payment, when you WhatsApp that number, they will send you the means of payment. Once you do sign up for the payment, then we will take you up, and then you will join the class. Once it is 31st or 30th of May, we won't take another person for that weight loss boot camp. All right. So I'm not going to do. Can you do weight loss while nursing? Yes, you can. Very, very possible. So it depends on what people don't know what weight loss is. So, because if people are just joining the fad, what people are saying online, and people are jumping on them. So yeah, that's why I said it's customized. So just join the boot camp. Will be customized what you're going to do. Your meal plan will be sent to you. It's just $10, right? And people have told me they've done so. $10 in Naira, calculate and convert it at 450. In Ghanaian cedis. I don't know how much it's going to be, but just WhatsApp that number and say weight loss bootcamp to that number. Then we will take it up from there, and then you'll be signed up. By 1st of June, we will start that boot camp, right? And so, why did I even go to weight loss issue matter right now? Somebody just got me off my thought. Okay. Well, so what we can actually do is that when we eat properly, our body is able to gain all the nutrients it's required. Okay, I was talking about carbohydrates and how carbohydrates have been wrongly labeled. People say you don't use. Okay, on WhatsApp, sorry, on Instagram. Let me put the number on Instagram, please. Sorry, 1 second. Oh my God. Can Mrs. Happy, can you please help me put that number on Instagram, please? Trying to do that from here. 624 2783. All right. So it's on Instagram. Right. So 10 card or USD. Human beings. That person must be from the person asking me 10 card or USD. It's 10 USD, not 10 card. People in Canada or UK, it's 10 USD, it's not 10 card. Sorry. So if I mean, for 3 months we're going to be there, and what I guarantee everybody is that if you comply, I guarantee that after 3 months we will have lost between 25 to 50 kg. That is my guarantee, money back guarantee. Between 25 and 50 kg. That's what we're going to achieve and work at. Right? So that is that for that. So when we eat properly, the body has the right nutrients. Even our carbohydrates that people label wrongly, because in most cases they have been wrongly cooked. What should go into your body to help the carbohydrate to be digested properly has been washed off. It's been cooked off. So when the carbohydrate gets into your system, your body cannot digest it. So that is why it now begins to store up in the adipose tissue as fat. So carbohydrate is not a sin. People say it's too much carb, too much carb. That's why we're having fat in Africa. It's not too much carbs, right? It's because we have not just been eating properly. We've not been eating the way we should eat. So we are going to treat that and handle all of those cases in that boot camp. So I will advise, please join that boot camp. You need to be there. You need to be at that boot camp. So the number is still flying on the screen, right? So you can please get a number, send a WhatsApp number to that number, and then we will take it up from there. All right. And so please, if you take all these foods that I've mentioned, introduce them. Thank you, ma. Introduce them into your diet. We're going to have a very good result. You'll have been able to help yourself and help your family. Plus, my 3 or my 4 important components, which is my own recommendation. It has gone viral. It's being used everywhere in the world. And I would say, well, thank God people are using it. And what are those things? Ginger, garlic, turmeric, cinnamon are very important. Please, you can introduce them into your diet. Start doing that from now. If you've not been doing that before, do that now. Your children can tolerate. People have asked me, can kids tolerate it? Yes, they can tolerate it. I've had to explain that. I've used that for my kids while growing over the years. It helps. In fact, it helps the kids the more. Garlic is not a not a medicine. Any child will tolerate it. Just do it moderately. I've had to talk about don't abuse, don't overuse. Whatever you are using, make sure you use them moderately, and nothing will go wrong. I've advocated for people who want to use the garlic, ginger, turmeric tea for their children. One ginger clove, 2 cloves of garlic, one turmeric, sprinkle cinnamon into it, and then boil with lemon. Now cut the lemon into 2, put 1/2 into the boiling pot. You boil 1/2 of the lemon with the pot. The other half, you squeeze it into the water when you are done. And how much water do you put? I advocate, if you are doing it for your kids, you can put 1 liter or 1.5 liters of water into that thing, so it's not too conk. But for people who are already infected, you have to do like 250 and 400 mils. So that makes it very conk, and you should take that 3 times a day. For people who are not infected, taking that once a day is very okay. If you can't take that, as a drink, one other thing you can do, thank you for sending your WhatsApp. One other thing you can also do is to incorporate this into your diet. You can use garlic in your soup. You can use ginger in your soup. You can use turmeric in your soup. You can put all of this and introduce them into your diet, and you'll be fine. If somebody says, I came late, yeah, the video is going to be up. You can watch it afterwards. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Instagram. You can watch it on Facebook. They will all be up after this. And then please help us to subscribe to our YouTube page. People are not subscribing. We're not seeing enough subscription on our YouTube page. Please, we beg of you, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. I am pushing some videos up on YouTube in the next couple of days. If you do not subscribe, you won't get them. They won't be on Instagram. They're not going to be on YouTube. So my advice is that please go subscribe to the YouTube channel so you will get those videos. I'll be answering some very critical questions I'm seeing on social media that are going viral with those videos. There will be short videos, but they'll be answering critical questions. One of them was I Chief Raymond Dokwesi asking the question of, I went to the isolation center. I was only treated with anti-malaria. What is the difference between malaria and COVID-19? Now, I see those videos will be to manage the gap of information that the NCDC in Nigeria is not doing well. And I don't blame them. Everybody's overwhelmed at this time. I don't want to blame anybody. There is no country in the world that have done 100% well. I can say that to anybody. So if anybody is thinking, oh, there is one country doing well anywhere, everybody is not doing. Everybody is not everybody that is doing well. So the information gap is wide. Somebody said that was dumb. No, please don't say that. The YouTube page is Nutraceutical Health Solutions. Nutraceutical Health Solution. Yes, thank you very much for putting it up. Yeah, that is the YouTube page. Right. So it's not, you see, a lot is not known. You will be shocked and surprised. I've been into malls here where there are so many white people here who believe that COVID-19 is fake. There is nothing like, many educated people believe it is fake. And there are so many news going around, you know, to back it up. You know, even, yeah, somebody said even WHO is not doing well. people are confused, seriously. So it's a serious time we have in our hands. So the best we can do is to keep educating people, advocating for people to protect themselves as a sign of courtesy, as courtesy to the next person. I believe if you go out these days without a facial mask, you are being rude to them, right? So you need to go out with a facial mask. Again, people have spoken, I've seen videos talking about facial mask will suffocate you. It won't help you to breathe normally. I'm going to answer those questions in subsequent videos that I'm going to put on YouTube. And then whatever I say to anybody, I tell people there are empirical facts to back them up. And whatever anybody wants to say, if you want those facts, just DM me. I will send you a lot of researches that have been done to back up, you know, whatever has been said. So that is the YouTube page online. Nutraceutical Health Solutions is the page on YouTube and on Facebook. It's only on Instagram we go by the name nutraceutical_health. Nutraceutical_health. Then I'm being reminded by my social media account handler. Last week we saw a page who came to comment on our page and said Dr. Alabi, Herba, whatever. Number one, I have said it. I do not have a PhD degree at the moment. I am not a medical doctor. If anybody tells you Dr. Alabi, people call me doctor. I've seen medical doctors who even call me doctor, who are just here as Dr. Alabi. You know, but I'm not. So I will not go to open any page or go anything online and address myself as Dr. Alabi. And when we check the date that page was open on Instagram, that page was open about the time Reverend Sumbo Wright's story broke. And a lot of things were pushed out there. So please do not subscribe. The only page we operate for Nutraceutical Health Solution is this one, and the YouTube account, and then the Facebook page. No transaction. We do not have any other page aside from this. Let nobody fool you, please. I beg of you. Yeah, your health is of importance to us. I also want to say that, as I said this in closing, I have about 60 seconds to close. Next week, Saturday, I'll be talking about some other things that you can do for your health. I don't recommend products. I don't endorse products, but there are certain people whose products have stood the test of time. I can tell you, yeah, there are scammers everywhere. You are very correct. You know, I can tell you that you can source for your products from them. Those products are organic. I will mention names of some brands, both in Nigeria and abroad. I have no interest in any of those brands. Anybody who has been with me for a long time, we know that I have always resisted the temptation and the urge to endorse any brand. I'm not a brand ambassador for anybody or for any product. So if anybody puts my name behind any product, no, it's not me. For people on Instagram, you might be signed up in the next 20 seconds. But before then, I want to say bye-bye. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please send us a DM and we will answer your question. Thank you all for coming out today. I really appreciate you. God bless you. You can watch this again on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.